Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below so you can join my growing YouTube family. For today's video, I'm going to upcycle this furniture piece for a client of mine. This furniture piece is going to go back into a business office building, so we're just going to spruce it up a bit. You can find old, worn furniture pieces just like this on OfferUp, Craigslist, or Facebook Marketplace and redo it to fit the style of your space. Hopefully this video will inspire you on your next home project. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. I'm going to start off by sanding the top of this piece of furniture using an orbital sander and some 80 grit sandpaper, and don't forget to use a mask. I'm going to sand the top part of the dresser all the way down to the bare wood, and then once I am done with that, I'm going to lightly sand the rest of the dresser, including the drawers, with a 120 grit sandpaper, and I'm also going to hit the top of it with a 120 grit sandpaper when I'm done as well, because I'm going to use a sprayer and spray with paint the bottom half of the dresser, leaving the top part wood. And then, once I'm done sanding the top, I'm going to go ahead and sand the side pieces of that top piece using my mouse sander and some 80 grit sandpaper. Now, mouse sanders are great because they help to sand in those areas that are hard to reach with your orbital sander. And then, once I'm done with that, I'm going to go back in with my orbital sander and sand the sides until it's all down to the bare wood on the top piece. And then I'm going to remove all of the drawers and lightly sand the rest of the furniture piece with a 120 grit sandpaper using my orbital sander. This is something you can just do by hand, but this furniture piece had so many scuffs and imperfections from the current paint job, so I just wanted to make sure to get a nice smooth finish before we painted over this bottom half. I also made sure to remove the drawer pulls. That way, when we went to paint, we didn't have to worry about taping them off. Okay, so it took me about 3 days to complete this project, and this is all I did on day 1. So now let me show you what I did on day 2. Now, for day 2, I'm going to need my husband's help, so I went ahead and recruited him for his help for day 2. So first, we went ahead and we laid down a drop cloth. This is the furniture paint that I purchased to spray this furniture piece with. I will leave the link for the name of this paint down below for you guys. It turned out to be a really pretty gray color, so I will leave the name of the paint color down below as well. Now, before we paint, my husband and I went ahead and sawed off the back half of this furniture piece where these indents are at. Maybe a mirror used to slide in here, but we're going to just cut it off so it looks a little bit more pleasing to the eye. I did go ahead and lightly sand after we cut it off just to make sure that part was smooth as well. And what we ended up doing was taking our paint sprayer and hooking it up to our air compressor so we could spray the paint on just to give it a nice smooth look with no brush lines on it. And then right before my husband sprayed, I went ahead and I taped off the top piece of wood so that way no paint would get on it, and then we just flipped it upside down and sprayed it that way just to ensure that absolutely no paint got on the top of the wood piece. We are also spraying another furniture piece, so if you're wondering what that is in the background, it's just another project we're working on. And then my husband just went to town spraying. There's just something so satisfying about seeing paint sprayed on furniture. You also want to make sure that you wipe your furniture down really well with a damp rag, making sure to allow it to dry completely before you spray your paint on. just so you don't have any dust particles on your piece of furniture when you go to paint. And that is all we did for day one. So let me just show you what we did on the last and final day to complete this project. But before I do that, I do want to say that if you don't have an air compressor and you don't have a paint sprayer, then you can just use a roller. You can paint around the pieces that are hard to reach with a paintbrush and then go in with a roller to get a smooth finish. Alright, so it is the third and final day and we are ready to finish. The first thing I did was remove the tape, and then I made sure to wipe down the top really well with a damp cloth. I also did that to the drawers and the sides and the fronts and the back of this furniture piece as well. This is poplar wood, which can be quite difficult to stain, so I'm not going to stain it. I'm going to simply put a coat of matte poly on top of this wood piece using a brush. Now you can purchase these little brushes at Lowe's for $3. That way you can just toss it when you're finished if you want, or you can always reuse it, which I would recommend. Most of the furniture in my home isn't stained. I typically will do this to my furniture pieces. Just put a clear matte poly on top of my furniture, any wood pieces that I repurpose, allowing the natural wood to stay the same. So you can definitely do this and save money by not having to purchase stain. I also went ahead and put a coat of poly on the faces of the drawers because I know those will be touched a lot. And then I just let it dry before I put the hardware back on, and that is it. I hope that you all enjoyed this video. I hope it gives you some inspiration for your next furniture piece that you're wanting to upcycle. And please don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. It means so much. And until next time, I love you guys so much. Bye.